we know Kevin Stefanski has been emphasizing winning the turnover battle, which means you can't turn the ball over, which they did a ton of. Longtime Browns beat reporter Tony Grossi with his thoughts about Joe Flacco and potentially throwing interceptions.
Everyone's going to overreact to interceptions, and the playoff game ended in back-to-back pick sixes. I get that, but that has not been Flacco's downfall in his whole career. It's not like he's Jameis Winston. His interception rate actually is very average, very not terrible, and not great. He's better at avoiding sacks than he is avoiding interceptions, but he's going to take his chances, and he's going to. I contend he'll succeed on more than he doesn't.
And there's two things out of that. One of the things I worry about is Flacco gets a year older. Can he still avoid sacks? If he can, that's a huge plus. The turnovers concern me. I'm not going to lie, because there is very little margin for error the way the Browns are going to play this, and error would be losing turnover battles.
Yeah, I've heard a couple people say that they want to win similar to how the Pittsburgh Steelers have won in recent years when Ben Roethlisberger was gone, where they were playing awesome defense and efficient offense. And like you talk about Kenny Pickett, it was like, yeah, he didn't ever throw touchdowns, but he also never turned the ball over, and they were able to make that work. I think it all comes back to the run game, because like I had this conversation with a buddy of mine talking about like, he was averaging like 45 or more passes the last time he was here, because that was just what the offense was and they couldn't run the football. I think the sweet spot is getting Joe between 30 and 35 passes. Well, that's 10 less opportunities, or more to turn the ball over. And I think he can be much more efficient if he has a run game. So that's why I come back to it, and I'll continue to come back to it. They've got to be able to find a way to establish the run, because then you have to take less chances, and you also won't have to throw the ball in the fourth quarter when you have a lead and you're trying to bleed the clock. And then again, more chances when you don't need to take them. So I think I am concerned about it. I think and everybody who is 100% validated by it. But if they can lower the amount of times they throw the ball because they're a more balanced offense, then that lowers the chances of those turnovers occurring.
Yeah, the other thing is if you can run the ball at play action, the deep shots are more effective because everybody's coming in. So it's all tied together.